Yes, it's me again, Felix Lubezki, your old witch. I see it's time to brew another terror tale for you here in my cauldron. Come closer, closer. Now gaze into its bubbling contents. Gaze deep, and soon you'll see the beginning of a blood-curdling yarn I call the Hunchback. It was a dreary day as Roger Compton strolled up the main street of the little town for the first time. What's that? Looks like commotion up ahead. People running. While Roger Compton watched, the townsfolk scurried about seeking refuge. He's coming! Get indoors! Run, run! He's coming! This town seems to be frightened of someone or something. Soon Roger found himself on a deserted street. People had all disappeared, hidden behind locked doors and drawn blinds. Must be something horrible they fear. I wonder if I ought to take cover too. Oh, too late. Here he comes. The stooped figure shuffled around a corner and up the empty street. As he drew near, Roger noticed that he was a hunchback. Golgo, my old friend, Peter Golgo. Huh? Peter, do you not remember me? I'm Roger, your old college chum. But how bad you look, Peter. Go away. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. What? Why, Peter, it is I, Roger. Don't you remember? Peter Golgo shuffled off up the street and disappeared into a dark alley. Roger Compton stood and watched, amazing. I can't believe it. He did not know me. Why, we were the best of friends, but now how strange he looks and acts. Cautiously, the townsfolk that had barricaded themselves emerged from their hiding places. You're a stranger here, aren't you? Why, yes, you talked to him. You shouldn't have. He's bad. A fiend. Peter, a fiend? Nonsense. We were friends in college. That was a long time ago, before he became what he is today, a ghoul. But a ghoul feeds upon dead flesh. Yes, and I saw him. It was about 2 years ago. I was returning from a strange meeting. I was taking a shortcut to the cemetery when a lantern, someone digging. I edged closer and then I saw who it was. Peter Golgo, the hunchback, robbing a grave. From my hiding place I could not see what he was doing to the corpse he had dug down to, but when Peter had left, I approached the desecrated grave. Good Lord, the corpse is partially devoured. He's a ghoul. Roger Compton listened, horrified, to the old man's tale. When he had finished, I cannot believe it. Peter was normal at school, even brilliant. But you've seen him. Does he behave normally now? Does he? I've got to see him again. Talk to him. Get to the bottom of this. Where does he live? In the old house on the hill. But we warn you, keep away from him. He's evil. Roger turned to go, but one of the townsfolk caught him by the arm. My little girl died of pneumonia last week. 2 nights ago, her grave was broken open and her little body stripped of its flesh. 12th grave in 2 years. 12 graves desecrated. Their corpses devoured. Man is inhuman. Roger broke away from the wide-eyed townspeople and their horrible tales and made his way up the hill to the ramshackle house that was Peter Golgo's home. How run down and weather-beaten it is. He stepped up to the battered doorway and knocked. The blows upon the door boomed through the drafty halls of the old place. Then the door creaked open. What do you want? It is I, Peter, Roger Compton. Peter Golgo stood in the doorway, his thin, stooped body hunched at a grotesque angle. His hands clenched at his sides. His face was a waxen mask of death from which 2 eyes glared with ghoulish light. Go away! But I have come to help you, Peter. A smile spread across Peter's twisted, leering face, a smile of sly, lurking evil. His thick lips gurgled back in a pang grimace of idiotic mirth. Help me? Man, I am beyond help. But, Peter, The door slammed in Roger Compton's astounded face, and he found himself alone. Poor Peter, he is sick, perhaps a nervous disorder. Perhaps his hump has developed into a cancerous tumor. It does appear larger. I must get him a doctor. Roger made his way down the hill and across the street to a sign marked Henry Gordon, M.D. He knocked upon the clear white, newly painted door. Yes? I am Roger Compton. I am a friend of Peter Golgo, the hunchback. You must come and see him. He is sick, very sick. I know all about Peter Golgo. I brought him into the world. And you'll come. You'll help. No, I will not come. I cannot help him. You call yourself a doctor? Why, you're just like the rest of them. Narrow-minded, bigoted, superstitious. What they believe, Mr. Compton, is true. You mean Mr. Peter Gogo is a ghoul? Not he exactly, but it's a long story. Sit down and I will tell you about it. I am quite comfortable standing, sir. Proceed. For the most part, I feel sorry for what has happened to Peter Gogo. It is not his fault, but I am getting ahead of myself. When he was a child, the other children made fun of him, threw stones at him because of his hunched back. Now, go home, Gimpy. Your mother's calling you Humpy. Humpback, yeah. But Peter Gogo had no ordinary hump on his back, Mr. Compton, and today what he carries about on his shoulders is the cause of all his horrible actions. The grave digging, everything. What is it, this hump? It is a monster, a horrible little monster that torments Peter Gogo, creates unbearable pain, tortures Peter into doing its bidding. Peter is not the ghoul, the monster is the flesh eater. But how did it get there? Peter was born with it. It was an unbelievable Siamese twin that was attached to his back, only it never developed. Yes, it was alive, but dormant, and then, 3 years ago, the change came. It began to grow, Doctor? Yes, he came to me. It lay face downwards on his back, its hands clasped about his shoulders. It had its own digestive system, its own lungs, but its legs had ran off into the lumpy flesh of his body. I never knew, in all those years at college. When he came to me, its eyes were open. It had developed a tiny set of teeth. It was ugly, ugly. I could not remove it. I could not kill it. It would have meant Peter's life as well. And so I told him I would have to remain there for all of these days. But I never suspected it would be a thing of evil. It demanded flesh, dead flesh, for food. It was a ghoul, and Peter was forced to obey. It was capable of inflicting excruciating pain upon him. But you must do something now, Doctor. You must save him. I can do nothing. Nothing. Compton walked out of the doctor's office, tears in his eyes. There had to be something, some way of helping poor Peter, of freeing him from the monster that controlled him. I'll go back. I'll tell him that I know everything now. Compton made his way up the hill again to the old house. As he approached, he heard voices arguing. One of them is Peter. I recognized his voice. The other is higher, more frenzied. It must be the monster. They're fighting about something. Roger Compton crouched down below the shaded window, listening. No, never. I'll never do it. Never. Ah! It was Peter screaming in pain. The monster was torturing him, forcing him to do something he didn't want to do. No, I won't. Robbing graves is bad enough. Watching you eat the rotted flesh, but now kill for you? For fresh flesh? Never, never. It was horrible to listen to them. Peter continued to refuse, and then... Ah! After the scream, silence. Roger Compton rushed into the house. What he saw made him sick. That thing was there, exactly as the doctor had described it. Yes, it was there. The little monster, in a fit of rage, had climbed a trifle higher on Peter Gogo's back and bitten him to death. Silly little ghoul, it didn't realize it would kill itself, too. You see, these twins had only one heart, the one in Peter's body. Well, read on, friends. There are more chills waiting, if you can take it. He released the firebomb he had been preparing so carefully in his workroom, and with a consuming sense of triumph, he watched it flicker and begin to glow. No one in the small plane had seen him fiddling with it. His wife and all the others were too absorbed in the Mexican landscape unfolding thousands of feet below them. In another 60 seconds, the bomb would splutter into angry purple and crimson, and it would be time for him to leave them there. He almost laughed at the prospect. He'd be abandoned 50,000 feet in the air in a plane doomed to death by fire within 3 minutes. They'd never be able to land the flaming craft, and his guile in mutilating the chutes closed off the only other avenue of escape. Secretly, he had slashed his nylon of all the parachutes but one, and he was slithering into the only good chute at this very moment. The sound of the firebomb was audible now. He could see the horror on his wife's face as she turned and stared at him in dismay. The others were rising too. He began to giggle even as he ran to the escape hatch and flung it open. They were screaming at him. Some were beginning to curse and to moan, but it would do them no good. They were all doomed to death by fire, and he would profit by it. The insurance money on his wife's life and on the plane which he was about to destroy would make him a rich man. The metal door was wide open, and without a backwards glance he threw himself far out into space. He whirled as if caught in the funnel of a twister. Then he felt the sharp pull on his back and stomach as the chute mushroomed open above him and stopped his headlong descent almost instantly. Off in the distance he saw the plane wobbling in its path, smoke beginning to trail through its windows and tongue of bright red and yellow enveloping one of the wings. His plan had worked. They would all be consumed in fire within the next 5 minutes, and he would be rich and safe. He looked down at the Mexican countryside beneath him, and his heart almost stopped beating. Directly under him, open like the jaws of some primitive monster, was Mount Chacatax, and from its gaping mouth there issued great plumes of deadening black smoke. Now and then he saw the swirl of fire far down in the heart of the turbulent smoke, and he was headed directly into it. Some power which neither his will nor his parachute could resist was sucking him directly down into the open mouth and into the open fires of Mount Chacatax. All at once his chute seemed to lose its remaining power, and he was shrouded in the smoke and could feel the searing heat all around him. The deadly fires of Mount Chacatax was claiming him. Like the occupants of the plane, he was doomed to death by fire in the very mouth of the erupting volcano. Welcome, dear reader. Welcome once more to the Vault of Horror. Here's a fascinating tale, guaranteed to wipe the smirk from your face and replace it with a grave look. My story takes place far underground, and as dank and drafty a cave as you would imagine. So be careful to turn back at the first sign of a chill, for I don't want you to start sneezing and coughing over the spine tingler I call the Tunnel of Terror. My story starts in a town somewhere south of the border. Yeah, don't worry about me, sis. Packing up and bringing Paul down here, away from these drafty friends of his, may save him from a recurrence of his nervous breakdowns. Only I can keep him away from excitement and liquor. Get the picture? Here is a sweet young girl, Linda Cross by name, who's trying to save her brother Paul's health by moving him off the beaten track. She's forcing him into vacation from the bottle, but let's peek into the room a short time later. He's gone, and in his state of mind, anything might happen. It's dangerous for him to wander around the streets alone. Linda rushes to the local police station. You gotta do something. Paul's not responsible for himself. In strange towns like this, he might get hurt, or... I have your description of him, Senorita. I'll attend to the case myself. Go back to your hotel and get some rest. The hours tick by, and still there's no word for Linda Cross. I never should have left him, even for a minute. A stranger, and in his condition, I can't sit down around any longer. I'll go mad. Have you found out anything about my brother? Oh, Senorita or Cross? No word yet, which is good news in case of this sort. Man found dead at the tunnel, eh, Jefe? Strange circumstances. You had better come. An American, no one at the tunnel could identify him, and his body, partially devoured as if by some beast. Unidentified American, partially devoured? You'd better come along with us, Senorita, this victim, but let's not jump to conclusions. Come, we have a car waiting. This is a tunnel. It's a nightclub, a place where many American tourists gather. The dead man could be any of them. The tunnel? What an odd name for a nightclub. The tunnel is odd in more ways than its choice of name, Senorita. It appeals to people who seek the bizarre and weird, but you will see for yourself. Here is the office. El Jefe told only half the story in his description of the strange nightclub. Its name, for instance, is officially the Tunnel of Terror, and the terror is what Linda feels as she stands in the manager's office. And after the lights went on, we found him, his body as if a wild animal. Spare us your opinions, please. The shroud, will you? It is not my brother, thank heavens, not Paul. He's still safe, so far as we know, Senorita. This place, this tunnel, it sounds like the kind of spot that Paul would be attracted to, even in his present condition. Could I, for my own peace of mind, visit it? Of course, if you think there's any chance of your brother being there. This is the entrance, senorita, somewhat unusual as you'll find the rest of the tunnel appear to be. Through the trap door and down the long flight of steps, Linda Cross gropes her way into a place of complete darkness. The air is dank and clammy. The word tunnel seems apt, unknown to her. She has descended into one of the catacombs surrounding the town. I can't see a thing. It seems like an unexplored cave. Is this some kind of a joke? I'll soon... Oh! Welcome to the Tunnel of Terror. Who? A table for the senorita? Right this way. Step carefully, please. What kind of place is this? No lights in this eeriness? Allow me, senorita, to explain. Our club is actually located in one of the caves used for burial long centuries ago. For novelty, we strive to keep the illusion of death. But aside from our superficial appearance, I'm sure you'll find us congenial. Our whiskey is the finest. In that case, perhaps you can help me. Has a tall blond man been here, someone who looks sick, as if he might have a fever? Perhaps this is the one you searched for? Ah! Just a bit of entertainment we provide, senorita. Nothing to fear, I assure. What's that? Please don't become alarmed. There's been an accident here. This place like something out of a nightmare. Another body? I'll have to see, perhaps. It's Paul, a tourist, American. Let me see. Please, let me see. It may be my brother. Get out of my way. Not Paul, but it's horrible, as though it had been eaten. At that moment, something compels Linda across to look up, and across the room she sees something which made her blood grow cold. Paul! Paul, it's me! Hey, senorita, watch out! Give me that torch. It's my brother. He's sick. He needs me. Quick, I must find him. He didn't recognize me. This crazy place, it's frightened him. I've got to find Paul. Get him out of here. A scream, and with the echoes it seems to come from every side all at once. The beast, it must have struck again. I must find Paul. I must... The seconds drag by like agonizing hours as Linda Cross tries desperately to trace her brother through the underground cave. And then she sees the flicker of a shadow against the wall. Something moving. Perhaps it is Paul. He is afraid even of me. In his mental state he must be terrified. Can't take care of himself. It's up to me. Oof. Another corpse. Horribly mutilated. The beast. It's found another victim. That sound. What? Paul? You're safe. Safe? It's me, your sister Linda. You won't have to run away any longer. We'll get out of here together. You're safe. Safe. Won't have to run. I'm going to take you out of here, Paul. Don't be afraid. Afraid? That look on his face. The excitement here must have caused another mental collapse. He doesn't know me. No, Paul, I don't mean you any harm. I want to save you. Help! You escaped from whatever it is that killed those others. Let go of me, Paul. Your teeth, they cut my hand. You left a mark like a wild... It can't be. You, my own brother. You're the maniac who's murdered the others. You're the monster who craves human flesh. No, please, your own sister. This can't be happening. It's a horrible nightmare, Paul. The tale of brotherly affection, wasn't it? It's sort of a family plot. Just one thing to remember. To this day, no one has apprehended the monster which stalks the Tunnel of Terror. So if you're planning a vacation, well, I'll be seeing you on my own magazine, The Vault of Horror. And now, cunning. The camp lay in almost total ruin around him. It was hard to believe that this mass of smashed rock and splintered wood had once been considered a model concentration camp by the Nazis who built it. Most of the wooden buildings where the prisoners had been held in protective custody were now reduced to charred heaps. It would have made Herr Kanzler sad to see what the most recent Allied bombing had done to the camp he once ruled with such ferocity and absolute control. But Herr Kanzler could not see the effect of the bombing. He would never see it again. It was only by a quirk of fate that he was alive, in fact alive and left completely alone in the camp as the Allied armies swept toward Berlin. Days before the Gestapo detachment had disintegrated and disappeared, and the prisoners had broken free as soon as they learned the camp was unguarded. Now the place was a scene of weird desolation and ruin, totally uninhabited except Herr Kanzler, the camp commandant. Why did he remain? There were two reasons. It was a place where he had enjoyed complete and unlimited power, and his Prussian mind refused to abandon it. And having been blinded in the last bombing, and a man who was utterly friendless, he couldn't leave. Frantically, he groped his way over the rubble. The explosions nearby and the quivering of the earth under him made it evident the bombings had started again. He had to get to safety now, or else. The steel bunker was probably undamaged, and it was his goal and his salvation. Once inside those thick metal walls, he would be safe from the bombs, and after the Allies had swept over the area, he could surrender and throw himself on their mercy. He would escape, yet cunning would do it. His fingers gripped the steel door, and inwardly he exulted. He had found the bunker. Even in his blindness, he had shown a will to live which surpassed that of the prisoners he had destroyed. A bomb dropped nearby, and in desperation he swung the heavy door closed. It clicked loudly, and he could barely hear the explosions any longer. But another sound claimed his attention, an almost inaudible sound which filled him with dread. It was a low hiss, and its meaning was well known to Herr Kanzler. Gas was filling the room. The click of the door had automatically turned it on. For this was not the bunker. He was locked tightly in the lethal chamber. At once the truth flooded his brain. He was doomed to the same death which he had administered to so many thousands of others. This is the story of three men who created life out of death, only to find at the end their own lives had to be given in return. I call it The Living Mummy. My tale begins on a dismal, stormy night at the bleak laboratory castle of Professor Arnold Zamron, world-famous scientist. I'm warning you for the last time, Kraus. Stay away from my girl, or I'll kill you. Let me go. What is the meaning of this outrage? Stephen is crazy, sir. He tried to choke me. I did not. Quiet, Stevens. We are on the verge of bringing this mummy, dead from thousands of years, back to life. I'll deal with you later. Kraus, start the experiment. At once, sir. The whining hum of dynamos begin. Strange liquids bubble up in weird chemical combinations. The three men work for hours, then... It's no use. The mummy doesn't move. I've failed. Perhaps if we use my method of increasing voltage capacity to maximum potential. Shut up, Stevens. Don't tell me what to do. I'll pay you for assistance, not for criticism. You can clean up this mess while Kraus and I record our data. I'll see you in the morning. The Stevens had other ideas. I conceded, windbag. For years I've been taking his orders, and all that time my methods, my formulas have been responsible for his fame. That Kraus no better. Well, I'll show both of them. I'll bring the mummy back to life. Now, if I can modify that geostat to produce a force suitable to chemical revival. Stevens works from far into the night. Brilliant lights flicker on and off, casting shadows against the door. Suddenly they stop, then silence. Minutes pass, the door slowly opens. I don't believe it. I was sure my method was correct, but the creature just lies there, dead. I failed like the rest. What went wrong? Got to think. Sleep. Must have sleep. So tired. But back in the dark shadows of the laboratory, a normal shriveled hand rises slowly into the air. A few minutes later, Kraus, hearing noises, walks unwarily into the laboratory. What a mess. You're responsible, Stevens. Where are you? You thought I was asleep, eh? Well, wait till the professor hears of this. Answer me or I'll... No, stay away! Meanwhile, dear reader, Professor Zamron sits at his desk on the top floor of the castle. He also has not been asleep. Yes, Stevens is right after all. Well, I'll just use his method next time. He need never know. Ah! What? That scream. It came from the lab. Stevens must be fighting with Kraus again. By heavens, this time he's gone too far. Stop it! Do you hear? No, this is horrible. Kraus is dead, my laboratory ruined, and the mummy's gone. Pausing only long enough to get a gun from a nearby drawer, Professor Zamron runs to Stevens' room. Stevens did this. The man is a maniac. I should have fired him long ago. If he doesn't tell me what he's done with the mummy, I'll... A few seconds later, the angry scientist stands over the sleeping Stevens. Get up! There's no use pretending to be asleep. What's going on? You know very well. Why did you kill Kraus? Where is that mummy? Answer me. What are you talking about? Kraus killed? The mummy's gone? It can't be. Unless the mummy were alive, then my method must have worked. You must believe me. When you left, I experimented, tried everything, thought I failed. I came back to my room, exhausted, and I've been asleep all this time. You're lying. You've hidden that mummy someplace as an alibi. But Stevens isn't paying any attention to the professor. He runs out the room to the lab below. Come back here. I must see for myself. I was right. The mummy is alive and somewhere in this house. I'd shoot you down right now, Stevens, but I'm going to save you for the police. No, I swear, I didn't kill him. The mummy did. Thump, thump. What was that? What have I done? I've given life to a monster. I didn't hear anything. Now stand still while I tie your hands. But a desperate idea forms in Stephen's terrified mind. I can't let him hold me here in the castle. If the mummy doesn't kill me, prison will. I gotta get out. Whack! And to get far away from that horrible place. But fate has destined Stephen for a different end. As the hysterical man struggles through the heavy downpour, he fails to see the sheer cliff yawning directly in front of him. Yeah! Meanwhile, back in the castle, Professor Zamron runs to the library to phone the police. Can't get very far in this storm. The police will catch him. Operator, give me the police. How convenient for both my assistants to eliminate themselves this way. One dead, the other a murderer. Now I'll get the entire credit for these experiments. But as the professor is about to make his call, he hears footsteps. Footsteps coming towards the library. So the rogue has decided to come back, eh? I knew he couldn't go very far. He's trying to walk softly to catch me off guard. Well, we'll see how he likes this surprise. Professor Zamron pulls the door open and... The mummy! Stevens was telling the truth. Shrieking with terror, the professor backs away, pumping bullet after bullet into the creature. He's not dying. He's coming closer. Closer! No, stay away. Don't touch me. Ah! Well, that's my story, dear reader. Professor Zamron was finally convinced that Stephen's method was correct. The mummy proved it to him. What happened to the mummy? The police never found him. He's probably roaming around the countryside right now. He might even be peeking in your window. The one behind you. Don't look. You might not be able to stand it. A dead man painting my picture. Yes, dear reader, it is a dead man. You ain't smell the graveyard dirt? Can't you hear the rotting, decomposing flesh? It is nasty. Well, he was John Wayland, but now I call him the man from the grave. On a warm May evening last year, the earth shook loosely. The eerie moon beamed down on a rotting hand that lifted with insane fury through the grave mold. The hand moved, erupted those crazily at the grave dirt. Your hand feels loose, dug frenzied talons again and again in the soft loam until no grave can hold me, not when I had the test that calls me, that summons me from the final sleep. I must rise from this coffin, rise and continue my work. With thumping, sodden steps, the dead man walked the graveyard path. Nothing would stop me. Nothing. My work had caused me back from the grave. I must finish my work. Finish it. Yeah! Merciful heavens, I feel sick. A pretty sight on a moonlight night, eh? A dead man lumbering along the sidewalk, smelling of the grave. But where is he going? What strange work calls him from the grave? Curious. Let's turn over the musty pages of the past and go back some years to a cold October afternoon in an eastern city. John Wayland was alive then, young and handsome, but poor. Some painter. I can't sell a thing. Can't even earn enough to buy myself a loaf of bread and a bottle of milk. The only encouraging news he ever got was from a magazine editor. I know you paint mysterious and horrible things, Wayland. A lot of folks don't go for it, but I like macabre things. But I can't use it, sorry. Finally, John Wayland was forced upon his paintings in order to eat. It's charity, that's what it is. These things aren't worth anything, but you never can tell. I might sell them sometime. Thank you. One morning, shortly after John had pawned everything he owned, there was a knock on his door. Special delivery letter for John Whalen. Special delivery for me? But I don't know anyone who'd write to me. Show him that editor who liked my stuff. He's getting a new horror magazine. Wants me to do its covers for him. I'll get a contract. Money, at last. Sure, I'll give you a contract, but you'll have to bring in your samples again. I gotta show them to the big boss. But my pictures, I had to pawn them. Just my luck. First break I get, I lose out on. If I could only get my pictures back and paint some more, maybe I'd still get the contract. Give you your pictures? That money? Ha 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 ha. I may be old, son, but I'm not crazy. Ha ha. Please, you don't know what this means to me. My big chance. If I don't show those editors some samples, I'll lose it. Only one hope left. I gotta see my old friend, Billy Johnson. He always helped me in the past. He'll help me one more time. I know he will. Bill Johnson greeted his friend with harsher words and cold sneers. Help you? Again? After all the times I've loaned you money in the past? You're just a cheap bum, Whalen. Nobody gave you a job. Who are you trying to kid? I'm not lying. It's true. True. Now get out and stay out. I never want to see you again. You're a cheap, spineless bum. No good, a worthless slug. I'll never get that job now. I'm really washed up. Suddenly, the dams of John Whalen's restraint burst. Like a demonic thing, he hurled himself on his old friend. You could loan me the money to redeem my pictures. You have plenty of it. You never miss a measly $15, but no. John, watch out. I need that cover job, you hear? I need it to eat, to live. I knocked him out, but I'll do more than that. I'm going to kill him. Then I won't have to redeem my old pictures. I'll be able to take his paints and brushes to paint new and better ones. John Whalen dragged his old friend close to a big vat of etching acid. Then, lifting his head, he plunged it down towards the acid, just as Johnson recovered consciousness. John, stop! No, don't do this to me! Ah! I'll take plenty of paint and brushes, everything I need. That fool Johnson, why didn't he give me the $15? He'd be alive now. John Whalen made a mistake. Bill Johnson wasn't dead. Not quite. He was almost dead. But there was still a spark of life left, so look for yourself, dear reader, if you dare. John Whalen, I see you stealing my paints and brushes. Take them if you want, but remember, I am cursing them. Use them and you will always have to use them. Never resting, always working, day and night, forever and ever. Cursing me? What a laugh. As if a dead man's curse could ever affect a living person. Use your paints? You bet your life I'll use them. Bet your life? A joke, haha. Feverishly, John Whalen then threw himself into a frenzy of painting, anxious to make up for time. He threw paint on canvas with sure dexterous speed. Wait till the editor sees this picture. All that day and all that night, John Whalen worked, covered with perspiration, his eyelids heavy with the need of rest. He worked on. He wants samples, does he? I'll give him samples. 10 of them. Each one better, more horrible than the rest. Next day, they're terrific, Whalen, terrific. You caught the mood exactly. Terror, horror, the big boss likes them, so you're in. Giving you a lot of money for each cover, you can make a fortune if our book clicks, and it sure ought to with these covers of yours. Right, I'll get rich at these prices. John Whalen went to work with a will. He never rested. Always at any hour of the night, his lights were on as he painted and painted, madly, wildly. I ought to rest, but I don't want to rest, and I'm in the mood to paint, and I will. John Whalen was in the mood to paint, wasn't he? All well and good for a little time, but read on, my friends, read on. Remember the dying man's curse? Of course you do. And so will John Whalen, after a while. I brought in some more cover jobs, Jim. Look them over. Sure thing, John. The magazine is selling like hotcakes, so I can use some, but don't get too far ahead. But John Whalen could not stop painting. The glistening paints of the murdered artist beckon him like some strange magnet. I can't stop. I must go on painting, even if he doesn't need covers. I've worked for 33 hours steadily, not stopping, even for a drink of water. I can't go on, but I must, for I can't stop. Use my paints, and you will always have to use them, never resting, always working, forever and ever. Merciful heavens, no! John Whalen painted, all right. He kept on night and day, but the market for his paintings was gone. For Pete's sake, John, I bought a year ahead of your stuff. I can't possibly use any more. Go take a vacation. You're overworking. Month after month, day and night, John Whalen labored in his little garret studio. He developed a hacking cough. His body grew thin, wraith-like. His fingers, exhausted with brushwork, trembled and shook. One day, he fell to the floor and did not get up. He's dead. The poor man, he worked himself to death. He did. No rest, no time for laughter or fun. And now the brave will shelter him. He must have made a lot of money with all that work he did. Lord knows he never spent any of it. I wonder where he kept it. Won't do no harm if I look around. What's that? Sounds like footsteps, but not natural. Almost like they were made by leg stumps. I could not stay away from my work. There are more paints and brushes, still as good as ever. Got to work, keep working, never rest, forever and ever to work and paint, even though I smell of the charnel house and the grave. Ah! Well, that's my story, dear fiends. I'll bet that if I took a canvas of you readers right now, I'd find some of you screaming too, just like that poor old landlady. Did you notice how pale and palette she looked? Oh, by the way, she recovered now, doing nicely too, but she's still not out of the insane asylum. Seems that every time she sees a painting, she goes mad over it. And the Haunt of Fear number 4 ends. Happy haunting.